Hello and welcome back, everyone. So, before I get started on this video, I just want to update a little bit on how it's going with my Peace of Mind program. I've written down everything. I have almost recorded everything. The only thing that's left over is to record now would be to explain in a video what this program is going to be all about, and then is a sort of advertising, right? And making sure people understand what they're gonna get if they enroll. So there's that, and then it would basically just be me putting the pieces together as far as the different recordings, and also I'm going to try to insert a couple of slides here and there. So I imagine 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll be done. After that, I just need to find where I am going to make this course available. I've got a couple ideas, but I need to explore that a little bit before I make a definite decision on it. So this video here is combining a couple of different ideas that I had, and for me, so many things, and when it comes to spirituality, it's all connected, right? So we have, like, different religions, and we have like philosophy, psychology, then you have art, music. All these things are part of spirituality for me. And sometimes I will get a concept out of, or an idea from philosophy, and I combine that with something that has to do with psychology, and might be something else like music involved. And I'll combine these things and kind of like make it into a video. I don't necessarily do it on purpose. It kind of happens all automatically for me. I'm saying this because like the video is going to be a little bit different. You'll see by the whole mood and the whole way the video goes. And also you'll probably notice a little bit when it comes to the title of the video. It's not going to explain really the video. And so one of the first times I did a video, and I really had to brainstorm and come up with some random names for the title. And I had a hard time. First time ever this happened. So hopefully it makes sense for you at the end. That's what matters. So this video is about how we betray ourselves. It's about understanding who or what makes things possible. So in spirituality, like, we have many people that have correctly come to the conclusion that our ego self is not the doer of things. And we see that when we would question somebody, or even yourself. How do you lift your arm? And if we're honest, we'll say, I don't know. I don't know how I do it. But yet, here we are doing it. Which is in a sort of like a mystery on how we're able to move, how we're able to do things, and we don't even know how we do it. So what happens afterwards that we have this realization is that we will start often to be passive, and we will start doubting ourselves because we'll say, well, maybe God doesn't want me to lift my arm. And then we kind of fall in a conundrum where we start doubting if we should do anything at all. So again, we become very passive when we get into the understanding of we're not the doer, that there's something else that is making things possible. And you can call the doer God, higher self, source, or whatever name you want to. And it's quite interesting that we have divided. We see this in spirituality. We call it about the higher self. Well, the higher self implies a lower self. And when we have this understanding too, is the same thing as basically the ego and God in a sense. And we would want our lower self to start taking reins because we know how this can snowball into a problem. And then we get lost in this. And then we start questioning if we should do anything at all. And we start believing possibly, or often we start believing that God's will is different from our will. So it's not hard to see here. It kind of like can get into quite a anxious situation where we perhaps want to do something, but then we start second guessing, maybe I shouldn't. And we have this anxiety that develops because of that. I want to do something, yet should I do it? And you see how we can fall into quite a situation where we become anxious about doing anything at all. So is there another way that we can see this where we don't get tied up in a knot where I want to do this and should I do this and maybe I shouldn't and all that stuff? Well, for me, it comes with the understanding that what if God's will is your will? And some people are a little bit scared to hear that because we start, we fall in the trap of I am God, kind of like superior attitude. But how about before we go further, we start thinking about, well, what do we really want? And I will put the proposition that what we really, really want deep down inside is what God wants really deep down inside. And of course, we have to become clear on what we really want. So if we say, I want to be rich and famous, I want to be filthy rich, we're not very clear on what we really want in life. Somebody that really knows what they want in life, they'll say, I want to lead a meaningful and fulfilling life, whatever that is for you. Or that you want to live in truth, or you want to live in love, and these are things that you really want deep down inside. But sometimes we get distracted by society that tells us we should be rich and famous. And I think that's what happens, is that we start betraying ourselves. We start falling for the societal traps where we see rich and famous people on TV and we start believing that that's what we want ourselves. And I want to just ask a question. Is there anything that hurts more than self-betrayal? I don't think that there is anything. Having gone through that, where I was putting more value in the opinion of what other people were telling me to do than what I really wanted to do myself, and how that brought me so much pain. and I will say also suffering. Well, I was in pain and suffering because I thought that what I wanted was different from what God wanted. And because of that, I was looking for the answer in other people or in society or education or the movies. So I think we all have betrayed ourselves. We all betrayed ourselves for an illusion. So instead of being with a woman that really compliments us, we go for that trophy wife because it'll look good to our friends. Will say, "Oh, look, you've got a beautiful girl now, right?" And then at the end, it's all fake. It doesn't have any substance. It doesn't matter that she is beautiful because we don't really love her. And we betray ourselves by staying in a relationship like that because that's what we believe we should do. That's what we believe that our parents will want. That's what will make society proud of us. Now, what if we do the opposite? And we get aligned with who we really are. And I'm going to say this, that there is an expression trying to manifest through each and every one of us. And if we become aligned to this expression, that we become unstoppable, we become filled with joy, we become powerful beyond measure, where everything that we do feels good, happens naturally, happens almost automatically. And that's the opposite of self-betrayal. When we are fully connected to who we really are, it's an act of self-love. And it's so easy to do that. This is not a mystery at the end what you really want to do. You know. But self-doubt. Maybe God's will is different from your will. Again. So we see these people that maybe as an artist that's creating masterpieces, and we're just like in awe on how beautiful that he can paint, or maybe it's a sculpture. Or how about people that are into sports, and then we're watching a hockey player that is doing just like amazing things. These people are fully aligned, and they're doing things that while we were watching it, we're like, whoa, I don't know how he's doing this. It's simply amazing. I could not do that. And I know some people will interject and say, oh, if you practice, you might be able to attain something like that. Maybe. But I still say that there's something natural that comes in play when we see somebody doing things that we just almost can't believe that they're doing. There's something about that. And what if you are able to do the same thing as that hockey player, but in a different way maybe? Maybe for you it's not playing hockey, but maybe it's singing. I could give a whole bunch of different things here, but we all have things that we're good at, things that we love, things that happen naturally, things where we're in this flow. And it's so darn easy. So let's say again that I'm somebody that's lost. And because I'm lost, I see that hockey player and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to do that. And then if we were able to be honest with ourselves, we would say, I've never had the desire to play hockey in my life. But because like of the sort of fame or the how the magic that this hockey player is doing, it kind of like enchants us into doing the same, wanting to do the same. And then here we are, we start playing hockey, and then like, well, quite honestly, we fail, and then we fall, and we suffer, we're in pain. Well, we're trying to be somebody that we're not. We fall back into self-betrayal because of, well, maybe you wanted to become famous like that hockey player. That was really your intention behind it. Not that you were passionate about hockey, but you were following your ego to find glory or fame. When we follow other people's path, it often leads to hurt, suffering, feeling of being lost, that things don't really matter, that life is meaningless. Well, of course, we're living somebody else's life. And again, this is self-betrayal. We're betraying ourselves worse than Judas, worse than what he did to Jesus, doing it to ourselves. And there's no bigger betrayal than self-betrayal. Now, if we could finally start seeing the error in our ways, being open enough to say, my goodness, what am I doing? I'm not a hockey player. I love to sing. That's what I should be doing. And if we start doing that, then we start doing things that are just amazing, like that hockey player. But then there's certain people that'll come in and say, you can't make your living off of that. There's plenty of starving artists out there. You shouldn't be doing this. Try harder to be that hockey player. And again, if we do, and we start hurting again, and we start pointing a finger at them, they made me do this. Why did I listen to them? Well, until that we turn a finger towards you and say, I did this to myself. How big a fool was I to fall into the trap of trying to be somebody I'm not? Again, self-betrayal. The sooner that we can start having confidence in ourselves, that connecting with who we really are, that aligning with our true self, and forgetting what everybody else is doing, the sooner that we will find happiness, the sooner we'll be able to do amazing things, sooner we'll be happy. And it won't matter that You're not making $1 million a year by singing because you're singing because you love it. And then other people are enjoying you singing. And just seeing that you're able to make somebody happy by sharing a part of you, or the deepest part of you, is enough to sustain you. It feeds you in ways that the money that you will get if you just follow somebody else's path, the meaning that money is going to be meaningless. It won't sustain you. You'll need more and more. And isn't this the definition of what the ego is? Wanting more and more, never satisfied. And all we have to do is follow our heart to do what we always, or what we have always wanted to do. You know, that thing that you do when you kind of like decide, I'm going to have fun today. You know, it could be a drive, it could be going up for a walk, it could be, when we're doing these things, we sustain ourselves. We're filling the cup. Right? And this is like the difference between eating empty calories and eating something that's going to sustain you. Keep on doing something that you don't want to do, it won't sustain you. Now imagine if we all do what we really want to do deep down inside. So if I'm really passionate about being a singer, I sing. And if you want to be an artist, you love being an artist, and you do that. And your friend who loves being a hobby farmer, they do that. And my friend who loves to be a natural cure healer, she does that. And this woman's husband, who's a jack of all trade, he does that. That's what he loves to do, and he's doing it. Imagine if we're all doing that, will we ever want to have wars? Will we ever blame somebody else for what's going on in our life? If we all start doing what we really want to do deep down inside, there's a natural and kind of, well, it's logical what will come out of that. It's a golden age, a renaissance, a utopia, a heaven on earth. And what if we're the ones to bring the heaven on earth? We all do it collectively. We all have a part to play in it. What if? So what do you think? Can you relate? I am trying to encourage you. I'm trying to put out the idea that you are here for a very special reason. We all are. And if we do that role and we work together, we'll do amazing things. So thank you for watching. Please like if you like this video, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And until next time.